All right, panning for gold. And we're panning for gold here too. Panning for gold in 10 random chapters, trying to find the gold out of the first edition. All right, so this is a first edition. Why? Because it's not perfected. I don't believe that I hit all the right tones. I missed a lot. I omitted as much that is in this. So the next one, what I'm trying to do is I'm reading the book. I'm going through it myself. It's like the experiment and seeing is what's working and what isn't for me. And honestly, I'm not winning on this book. It's darn hard. And all I can say is that I need to try harder. And we're this next 2 weeks, I'm just taking it up a notch. So here, this is taken up a notch. And thank you, members, for supporting this channel. It's fantastic. Appreciate it, really. And this is going to be more to come. There'll actually be maybe pictures of the So we did chapter 1. I did chapter 2. Philosophies. 9 a.m. My first philosophy is the attempt to create order from spaghetti. That's it, man. Spaghetti is my surrounding. A bookshelf with too many books is on scale of less proper to downright hostile to learning. It's just, and I admit, that is me. I take on all kinds of knowledge, and I know I'm like, oh, geez, that's going to take at least 20 hours to understand. Never mind learn fully that. But there it goes. It goes on the list, and then there's another thing I have. So we have to keep things to a minimum. Is my point here, so you can learn, or else there's too much at you, and then you learn nothing. Or just it's scrambled spaghetti. My current bookshelf is overflowing. Now this was written a few months ago. Yeah, it's still overflowing. Though I have a schedule. I've made a schedule in books that I am doing in order. Right now I'm on C.S. Lewis because of his moral teachings, and I believe that that's where I need to start. I need to get my morals better, right? And then there's some J.R. Tolkien, some fantastic new book with Tolkien. Oh, the Tolkien books. I won't go into them. Seneca. Book with Seneca. To Lucius. There's letters to Lucius. Making thoughts cluttered more challenging to recollect or be present. See, when you've got too much in your ideas, when people are talking to you, like, come from a long distance away. Because you're so deep in thought, and they're like, "What?" You're like, "What?" Yeah, I'm here, yeah. And it's honest, and you've noticed it before with a philosophy teacher or usually a university professor. They're most likely to have that problem, right? It's hard to be present when you're so deep in thought. A simple plain room will provide fewer distractions. So I like to have an inspirational corner, right? Just the corner as much. And then the rest of the office, tidy walls, floors, and shelves. That's the ideal office pour moi, right? Just for me, and everyone has their own thing. I find that there's too much to look at, then your mind is given an opportunity to wander. And this isn't any office. People may complain, but production is key. A reading corner is just fantastic for organized thinking, right? Just specifically for reading. That's all that corner is. And an outdoor location for those days, you just need to ponder outside instead. And when you just can't handle the walls, and usually it's a day when you're not very impressed with the world. For whatever reason, usually none. Spend time thinking of your workplace, and this is my point, and any improvements to organization. Repeating several circle checks / cleaning of your workplace, thus giving you time to recall the things that need doing, fixing, and adding to the space. Of course, there was always room for improvement, but a change is better than a break. Never rest, your enemy's arm. So my point here is, right? You by doing a circle check. So when you're just walking around in there and cleaning up these little things, not having to go in detail hard because the room should be already orderly, but just going through the things in a lighthearted manner, all of a sudden ideas will, for lack of a better word, percolate. Preventative maintenance lowers stress by giving you more time to decide. Now, this is not just about office space. Preventative maintenance on everything. It's a new addition 20 years ago into building infrastructure. And they found, wow, it works so much better. When you only have to tighten a little screw, you don't have to replace the whole cap because it's still on tight. These things are very important. Every maintenance department person or millwright or tradesman, a lot of tradesmen that do maintenance stuff, they already understand this. It's just a matter of bringing it to life too. Bringing it in other aspects of your life is a key. Sometimes ideas percolate. Oh, look at I percolate on their own when you think it over, then move on, returning to it periodically. Right? So just let it sit there and let it percolate. A circuit chap keeps those thoughts fresh in mind on your preventative maintenance list and helps you orient the space of work again. Right? Time is always valuable when keeping the machine well oiled. Time pressure isn't good. Do 15 minutes of reading, the profit of the day, followed by 20 minutes of discussion or thought to carry you through the day, giving you the ability to learn through two lenses without becoming openly visually distracted with pondering thoughts of too many ideas at once. If this needs an explanation, you read them. You read about them, then you got to think about it because it needs a little bit more time to perk in your mind, to get deep in your mind. And then when you're dealing with your day, if those words and those ideas will come through and what other people do to you, and they'll cross. Right? Like a crossroads. And the X marks the spot, my friend. The X marks the spot. I love it. This is one of my favorite things about reading philosophers or deep writers. C.S. Lewis would be one of them. He's a borderline philosopher in his writing. Someone does something completely unrelated, but is exactly what that person was teaching. Pay your debts and live in ease with only what is required for happiness. And you can rest easy if you give all your every day. So the first part, we all. Yeah. But if you know what, I've had it. This. You're going to bed and you're getting flacked on or from your boss or something. And it was hard sometimes. And then the one day I was like, wait a second. There was absolutely no more I could have given today. I gave everything and every single chance at that. Not all the time, but this one time I thought I was like, because I did one day, I'm not admitting all. And they were flacking. It's like, it was the best feeling I ever had because it was like everything washed off me like a duck's back, what have you. Why? Because I knew in my heart of hearts, I worked so hard that day for that goal that there was nothing I could do, and that exhaustion was taking me. Very important. Every day, so that no one can flack you. All may rest in debt, ease, and the knowledge they shared everything they had to the day. Right. Endure hardships to be able to enjoy the good things fully. I don't know why suffering makes everything else better. I have the Life of Porcelain Pillow. Explain later. Always reflect on your good, bad, and ugly deeds. How to avoid them in the next round. The nighttime ritual, which hasn't been totally spoken about. That's very important. That part. Master the dog's appetites for food, drink, entertainment, and learn the beginnings and basis of self-control. Suffer, soldier, and like it. So where's that for? What is that about? What am I talking about? Dog's appetite. Have you ever seen a dog you just throw a meat at? We all do it. If you can control that ravenous attitude, you're very well on your way. 3 levels of thought: pre, post, and plain Socratic. That's the view in Greek tradition. Okay, so pre-Socratic is a focus on nature. The ancients believed that humans originated from a single substance: water, air, and therion. Pythagoras and his clan wouldn't eat peas, so take that with a pinch of mint. A little esoteric. Google that. This motion causes opposites, such as hot and cold, to be separated as the world came into being, though they are on one scale, just different degree. If you understand that, please mail me instructions. Well, this is the scale, right? Hot and cold are the same thing. One is more and one is less heat. Kelvin to thing. And that's scales. Oh, hot is cold and cold is hot, just more or less the same thing. Scales are more authentic than opposites, right? Think of a scale that runs in a circle, possibly spiraling into itself for the depths of sound. Now here I must digress into the benefits of hot and cold soaks, and in the second edition, I will provide complete details and research this so valued daily ritual. Time be damned. It's cold water. I'll let that for the second edition. Socratic philosophers were, you would never guess, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. So those three, you want to learn some philosophy, you don't need to go to school with that. I recommend reading up on Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, right? Especially the latter two. Wow, you know what? All three. This is me. These teachers did not get up front of the classroom and lecture the students into submission or slumber. Instead, they asked pointed questions to jar the foundations of the pupils' thoughts and beliefs. Plato studied ethics, virtue, and justice, following Socrates, then leading to Aristotle, who did the books on ethics, then biology, then zoology, then physics, then a sprinkling of astronomy to bring some of us closer to Kolar. The post is cynicism, right? Cynicism, Diogenes, skepticism, Epicureanism, and Stoicism. Stoics have 4 virtues, okay? Wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. That's the Stoic. That part definitely, the wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice will be elaborated on in the second edition. Stoics. Here is a suggested list of authors' books. So Mark Antony, Seneca, Yeats, Ovid, Psalms of David, Book of Mormon, The Pearl of Great Price, Dante's 3 books. All right. They beautiful book, beautiful Virgil, beautiful Paradiso, Purgatorio, and of course Inferno, which is the most famous. The Book of Thomas. Books of Thomas. These are just my recommended reading. There's a much longer list. C.S. Lewis, I'll add to that right now. Okay, here's something a little off. The 11 Principles of Leadership. Okay, it's 11. 1. We'll just go. It doesn't really matter. 1 is 11, 11 is 1, right? They're all as important as the other one. So, know thyself and seek daily improvement. Be technically and hands-on proficient. Always reaching to learn the latest button. Evolve a sense of responsibility among your subordinates. All should understand their boss's job and their own. Make sound and timely decisions. Contemplate when you have months. A decision made early may be altered easier than a late one. Set an example. Sleep under your desk. If you're asking your workers to work 14-hour days, what are you doing going home at 3 o'clock? And then pushing them, trying to get harder. You can't. It's hard, very hard to do. The only one way to do that is you got to whip them hard, which it only works when you're there. Know and learn all about your people and look for their well-being on a personal level. Just don't let them drown. Keep people informed. Briefing, and then give them a briefing. Right? You got to keep them informed. Forge for responsibility and accept responsibility for your actions It hurts, but it helps. Seek and accept responsibility. Ensure assigned tasks are understood / accepted, supervised, and accomplished. With the after action review, so after action review report, for all tasks, time provides standard operating procedures for all jobs to ease the way for the wet ear folk. So that's awful writing. That's going to have to be rewritten. So basically that is make sure everything's understood, accepted, supervised, and accomplished. So that's like following it every step of the way. It's important. Standard operating procedures are like writing a squad. Squad 1, you open, for a book. Squad 1, you open first page. Squad 2, read chapter. Squad 3, finish book. It's broken down into the smallest possible level to someone and writing an SOP is about writing it to someone who would know nothing. That's the idea behind it. That's how you write them. And SOPs are for anything that you do all the time. It's good to have an SOP. And especially if you do like a task all the time, your company, and multiple people are tasked at that job. So you have a standard. So all you gotta do is, hey, read the SOP on it, man. Jeez, don't ask me. And the best person to write the SOP is the one who's best at the job, not the best writer. First, the guy who knows what he's doing, get him to write it and struggle through it, and then you make it eloquently written. That's just an advice. Train your people as a team, setting a day in a week and a time of the month and annually. Essential tested thingy. Employing your team on known capabilities through training differs from job. If you hire a section at an assignment never prepared for, you risk losing more than that battle. Right? So that's it. But truly, if I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes. Alexander the Great was a simple man of simple tastes and almost conquered the world for it. I implore you to see the quality of his teachings of Diogenes and live off the excess of society for a time. It will give a perspective on life that you cannot get in any other way. So Diogenes Club, you don't have to do it forever. It's a good idea. It's a very, very good idea. Especially if you're a person in power and you've lived the life of pillows. You've never had to struggle. That perspective is required. Wisdom from the General Colin Powell. Leadership is solving problems. The day soldiers stop bringing you their problems is the day you stop leading them. And that is very important. Leaders can be chosen, right? By the multiple questions being asked of one person. You may not have the rank, but stop, look, listen, then strike hard and fast with all the power you need. Colin Powell uses strategy when the Iraq invasions happen. Never let your ego get so close to your position that when your position goes, your ego goes with it. The power of genuine humbleness is unexpected and brings a feeling of well-being to the humble. Powerful advice, I must say, for he is an unusually gifted man. Nothing happens without example, even if the model is yourself. Your own. Teach the basics, then teach them again. Finally, read them forwards and say them backwards. I challenge you, dear reader, to look at these books. No matter your age, greats give a good start for the price of a library fees. But sorry, you don't get the paper prize at the end. A good education is priceless, and schools still have the best regime, I say. There's my back pedal. Diogenes was a cynic and more who challenged us all to see what actual true value is, for he survived off the excess of society. There's much more to him. That's just a small piece of his teaching. So, basically, the one question is, who is the pilot of your day? Is it money that drives you? Is it joy that drives you? Is it the want of one thing? What is your pilot? All right, here's a repeat. Do 15 minutes of reading the prophets, followed by 20 minutes of discussion or thought to carry you through the day, giving you the ability to learn through two lenses, the crossroads, without overly distracted in the ponder. Oh, we got a typo. If you figure out how to live life without guilt, please write to me. Repent. You got to repent every day. It's something new that's come on. All I have found that offers some ointment to the open wounds we place upon ourselves is first to repent. Although perhaps you don't feel it, think the words you'll come around. For without a complete and honest repent, you will get the shoe scum thrower heiress. Without the lilac Harris Aziza. How to avoid the sitch is an excellent idea to chew on for a time after you shed your naked honesty, wrapping yourselves in robes sewn together with the wisdom gained through our incorrect ways. The Stoics believed if we act virtuously, the other ducks go in a row. Happiness, success, meaning, influence, honor, and love. For me, I'd had to find what my port was. Where am I going? And then all the other things started to fall. Premeditation malorium. It is not a hunch. Evil is as it is. Will always come and never let it hit you unawares. So it doesn't matter how good you're protected, how big your fortress is. Malorium is coming. Take the long view, as agitation negatives are nothing more than a distraction. This is one of my big things is distractions of life. I guess it's because it's the time of our age. And our judgment and attitude can change how positive or negative. So live kindly, it will bring the positive. Sometimes I find I push through things and I do it in the negative way because the pushback is so hard. I know I have to go through this. So the suffering, but you got to do it nicely. That's my problem. Sunrise meditation. Look at the heavens and see the bodies working naked and pure, for there is no veil over a star, said Marcus in Meditations 11:27. Pay your debts and live in ease with only what is required for happiness. Endure hardships to be able to enjoy the good things with an unabandoned love. Those days in the rain make the sunny ones all the brighter. Always reflect on your sound, bad and ugly deeds. Who else is better at doing it? You know your heart. Master your dog's appetites of food, drink, and entertainment, and learn the beginnings and basis of self-control or suffering. You can do the combo, it's better. Reflect on the passage of the great rather than those negative words toward you or from you. That's chapter 2, my friends. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good night.